Hello, my neighbor. Let's talk about when to fire a worker. Okay? All right. So we have another fun bit today. We have another hot take. Check out this title. What is for cause employment removal? All right. So we just want to hop off onto this one and we want to make this one really, really quick. But here, let me get this off my heart real quick. So, I was fired. I was fired from the healthcare industry back in 2020. And then the reason why I was fired was because I told them I didn't want to take a commercial medical product. I said, no, I don't want that in my body and I don't want to put that in my face because I believe that God has made my body perfect, right? And come to find out that the CEO of the hospital didn't agree with that statement because the CEO of the hospital said that the governor of California didn't agree with that statement, and then they were trying to make me use a commercial product. So they fired me for that, all right? And I was like, wow, I don't think you guys can do what you think you just did, but you did it. So I'm gonna circle back around to you and I'm gonna talk to you guys later, okay? But this is why I'm doing this hot take right now, because check this out. I want to give a shout out to the Federal Reserve Board of Governors for showing us how they work. Right. So what's going on right now is that one of the governors on the Federal Reserve Board, she was technically fired by the chief executive officer of the United States of America because the cause that they said was her was that she was not truthful and she was not honest on some of the things that she was doing before she got the job, right? And I mean, you gotta have a trust established with these entities that happen to operate within our government realm. And she didn't have that trust, or the executive didn't have that trust, and he thought that was a cause, right? So he let her go and he said, "You're fired." And then right now they're battling it out in the courts. But, we're going to find out in the end who's going to be right, who's going to be the boss. Is it going to be the chief executive officer of the United States of America, or agencies that are subject to the chief executive officer of the United States of America? We're going to see who's boss in the end, okay? But thank you. Thank you, Federal Reserve Board. I really appreciate how transparent you guys are, and I really appreciate how you guys show us how you operate our business. Thank you for your service, and let's hop on this jump off bit. All right, here we go. What is for cause employment removal? Okay, so we're going to lay down some terms and we're going to lay down some conditions, because you and I, my neighbor, we need to agree upon them so we can be on the same page, right? So when we say cause, we want to say, yep, that's what cause means. I agree with that term and I agree with that condition. Okay, this is what we love to do, so then we don't have any confusion. All right, now check out these terms and check out these highlights right here. Okay, focus on the highlight and focus on the underline. Cause. Cause is a suit or action in court. That's what cause is. All right. So whenever you see cause, then someone's putting on that suit and they're going to go to war with words. Okay. Check it out. Cause. An illegal process which a party institutes to obtain his demand, or by which he seeks his right or his supposed right. All right, so this is what cause is. All right, so when you want to exercise your rights, right, you better understand the cause. All right, check it out. Let's keep going. It says the cause, the reason or motives that urges, moves, or impels the mind to act or decide. That's what cause is. All right, so why do I move? Right? I move because I love to teach and I love to show, but there's something that's pushing me and there's something that's moving me. And what's moving me right now is my Father's word. So the word moves me and I love it, right? So that's what urges me to move and seek things and act. It's my Father's word, because full disclosure, I'm a Christian and I follow the word of God. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, so that's what cause is. Put that in your back pocket. Never move from that position. Drop down and check out employ. This is what employ is. Employ is to keep busy. Employ is at work. Employ. That's what employ is. And work means anything that you can do with your mind or with your hands. Okay. So when you're employed, you're just busy and you're working. Remember this, and we're going to be cool. Now drop down and check out removal. This is what removal is. Removal. The state of being removed. That means somebody's moving you. He says, you go sit over here. You're no longer hanging out with us. Removal. Change of place. You see what I mean? They're going to change your place, right? Like you used to have a job and this used to be your position, but this is no longer your position because we removed you from that position. Okay? All right, drop down and check out reason. This is what reason is. Reason. That which is thought or which is alleged in words as the ground or cause of opinion, conclusion, or determination. That's what reason is, right? So this is why we always like showing people the words and we like showing you the terms and the conditions, because we have to agree upon the words so then that way we can see, why did you do what you did? Why did you move how you moved? Why did you act how you act? Why did you behave the way that you behaved? What caused you to do what you did, right? And we love doing this because we're seeing right now that a lot of people don't know why they move, and they don't know why they do what they do. And we like showing them the words that control them and the words that bind them. This is why we like showing our government entities the state's constitutions, because we say, this is the contract, these are the terms, and these are the conditions that bind you, okay? They don't bind me because I'm one of the people, but they bind you because you are one of my servants, okay? Because creator creates creation. Remember this, and we're going to be cool. Okay, so that's what reason is. Put that in your back pocket. Never move from that position. Now drop down, and we're going to show you pink slip. Okay, so this is one of these bits that we like to show people now, because you can get fired, and when they fire you, they give you a pink slip. All right, so we're going to show you what is for cause employment removal. This is a summary. This is the pink slip. A for cause removal of employment refers to termination of an employee's position by an employer due to specific, serious reasons that justify the dismissal, such as misconduct, poor performance, or violation of company policies. All right. So we love that bit right there, because we see right now for a fact is that there's a lot of people that are violating the constitutional provisions. There's a lot of people that work for the government that are violating the rights, the constitutional rights of the people, right? And that's what we call poor performance, because you're not doing your job, right? That's what we call misconduct, right? So if you violate my God-given rights and you don't allow me to move and you don't allow me to operate within the markets that I've created by telling me that I have to use a commercial medical product in order for me to work and earn money with my mind and with my hand, then that means you're violating the law. And we can give you the pink slip, right? So if you're a government entity and you're violating the law, then we can tell you, hey, you're violating the law. And if you keep violating the law, we're going to fire you. We're going to remove you from your place of employment, because you're not going to be able to work anymore. And when you want to know what the reason for removal is because you're not performing your job as described, right? And it's real simple, because your job description, all of our government entities' job descriptions are written down in our state's constitutions and our federal constitution. Just like the job descriptions for business entities are written down in their terms and their conditions, or what they would call their company policies, right? So a CEO is only the CEO of the entity that he happens to be the CEO of, okay? So like the CEO is only the chief executive officer of a hospital. That's it. You're not my boss. You're not my master. You didn't create me. God created me. I just happen to work with you in a position. And when you try to use your CEO position to lord over me, then that means that you are violating my constitutional rights, and I can punish you. Okay? That's just how it goes. All right. So we're done. Let's go ahead and walk it back up. So I just wanted to show you that pink slip bit right there, because there's a lot of people in positions right now, and they seem to be fat and they seem to be happy. They seem to be very comfortable in their positions because of whatever policies and whatever procedures that they're operating from right now. But we're here to tell you the people are awake, and we're circling back around, and we're going to make sure that you're following the terms and the conditions as written. under the jurisdiction of the Constitution, okay? Remember this, and we're going to be cool. All right, let's keep walking it up. So I wanted to show you what reason is. I wanted to show you what removal is. I wanted to show you what employ is, and I wanted to show you what cause is, all right? So if you understand those terms and those conditions, and if you understand how to execute the trust, I guarantee your stress levels are going to come way, way, way down, my neighbor, okay? Remember this, and we're going to be cool. And that's that hot take on what is for cause employment removal. All right. So you got to have a reason why you want to remove somebody from employment. And basically, if they're not doing their job and they're not following the job description as written, you can fire them. Okay, my neighbor? Remember this, and we're going to be cool. So we're done with that bit. Let's hop on our next slide. Conclusion. This is my closeout game, and I love it. Check this out. Trust God. So I'm going to say this bit from now on until my father taps me out. Trust God. Put your trust in God. Put your property in God's trust. And all you have to learn how to do is dress and keep my father's property. And once you understand that every man and every woman, you don't own you, God owns you, because Creator creates creation. All you have to learn how to do is keep your body safe and keep it straight. How do you do that? You follow the terms and the conditions as written. For the secular people, the terms and the conditions as written are in your state's constitutions. For the spiritual people, our terms and our conditions, because we follow Christ, are written in our Holy Bible, King James Version. That's what's up. It's that simple. I can figure it out, and I can show you how to get down with simplicity, okay? So if you want to contact me, and if you want to talk about some wonderful things in the private, like how to execute the trust, I'll show you. Hit me up and let's hang out, okay? That's my closeout game. All right, let's go ahead and walk it back up now. So I wanted to give a shout out to the Federal Reserve Board of Governors for showing us how they work. I really appreciate the Federal Reserve Board, and I really appreciate how they move and how they operate and how they control or how they show how they control the financial systems in America. Thank you for your service, and thanks for this jump off bit. And then I wanted to give you that hot take on what is for cause employment removal. And remember, if somebody is failing to perform the job description, you can remove them from that position, okay? And then I wanted to talk about when to fire a worker. Again, you fire a worker when they don't perform the job as written, all right? So if they cannot follow the terms and the conditions, and if they cannot do and perform their job description, then you fire them, right? You remove them, and you put somebody else in that can do the job, okay? As written. All right, so we're done. Thank you. I'll see you in the future. By God with love. And remember, nobody's having more fun than us. Bye.